The air is humid and smells faintly of chlorine. White ceramic tiles cover every surface in sight. The water is lukewarm and perfectly clear. My footsteps echo loudly across the massive room. It feels like an endless, abandoned swimming pool. The gentle sound of rippling water is the only thing I can hear. There are staircases leading directly into the water. The lighting is dim, casting soft reflections on the surface. I should keep moving. It is too quiet here. The water is only ankle deep in this section. I can see hallways branching out in all directions. Some of the rooms have deeper sections. The temperature is perfectly balanced. There is a strange sense of peace here. But I know I cannot stay. The tiles are cold against my feet. A faint hum comes from the ceiling lights. I wade slowly through a shallow corridor. The water barely reaches my shins. Every step creates a small echo that bounces off the walls. I pass by a room with small pillars. There is no end in sight. Just more white tiles and more water. The smell of chlorine is getting slightly stronger. I wonder who built this place, or if it was built at all. The light reflects off the ripples. It is almost hypnotic. I force myself to look away and keep walking. A small archway leads to a slightly darker room. I step through the archway. The water feels a bit colder here. I take a deep breath. The echoes of my breathing sound strange. I should try to find a dry area. Walking in water is exhausting. I turn a corner. Another endless hallway stretches out before me. There are no doors or windows, just open archways and tiles. I stop for a moment to rest. The silence returns immediately. It is almost deafening. I start moving again. The water sloshes gently. I look up at the ceiling. It is plain white and featureless. The lights are evenly spaced. I keep my eyes forward. I am halfway through this section. The water is getting deeper now. It reaches up to my knees. Some of the lights are flickering out. I thought I heard a splash somewhere behind me. The architecture here is starting to make no sense. There are dark tunnels under the water. The water feels unnaturally cold in this area. The tiles are cracked and stained with something dark. I keep seeing ripples, but I am standing still. The silence is broken by a low, distant hum. Is something moving under the surface? The corridors are getting narrower and darker. I need to find a dry place to rest. My legs are getting heavy. The splashing sound behind me stops. Then it starts again, closer this time. I speed up my pace. The water resistance makes it hard to move fast. The lights are buzzing louder now. One of the bulbs shatters above me. I flinch and duck. Pieces of glass float on the dark water. I carefully step around them. The room ahead is almost entirely unlit. I have no choice but to enter. The darkness swallows me. I can barely see my own hands. The hum changes into a deep vibration. I feel it in my chest. I try to walk as quietly as possible. A shadow moves against the far wall. I freeze. It is tall, too tall. It stands perfectly still. I slowly take a step back. The water makes a loud sloshing sound. The shadow twitches. I stop breathing. It does not move again. I slowly navigate around the edge of the room, keeping my distance from the shape. My heart is pounding in my ears. I finally reach the exit of the dark room. I slip into the next corridor. The lights are back on here, but they are red. The water looks like dark crimson ink under this light. I have a very bad feeling about this. I need to get out of the water. I look around frantically for a platform. Nothing but deep water and endless tiles. The water is up to my waist now. I am shivering. Something brushes against my leg. I gasp and stumble. It felt cold and slimy. I look down, but the water is opaque. I start wading faster. The splashing is definitely not just me anymore. It is coming from multiple directions. I hear a low, guttural clicking noise. It echoes through the corridors. I cannot tell where it is coming from. The red lights begin to strobe. I have to find an exit. I round another corner. A dead end. No, wait, there is a doorway underwater. I hesitate. The clicking gets louder. I have no other option. There is something in the water with me. A massive shadow just darted past my legs. I have to run. Now. The splashing is getting louder and closer. The water is turning pitch black. It is right behind me. I can feel it. The lights went out. I cannot see anything. Do not look back. Just keep moving. The water is dragging me down. I can hear heavy breathing, and it is not mine. The architecture is shifting. I am trapped. The pale figure is staring at me from the dark end of the hallway. Its limbs are impossibly long. Hide. I need to hide. I plunge forward into the dark water. I am swimming blindly. Something grabs my ankle. I kick violently. I break free and breach the surface. I gasp for air. The clicking is right in my ear. I scramble over a submerged wall. My nails scrape against the ceramic tiles. I pull myself up. A long, dark arm reaches out of the water. It misses me by an inch. I fall into a raised platform. I roll away from the edge. Dozens of hands slap the edge of the platform. They are trying to pull themselves up. I scramble backwards in panic. The red lights flash violently. I see their faces for a split second. Empty eye sockets and gaping mouths. I scream. I turn and sprint down the dry hallway. The sound of wet bodies pulling onto the tiles echoes behind me. They are chasing me on land now. My wet clothes weigh me down. I push myself to the absolute limit. The hallway twists and turns. I knock over a rusted maintenance cart. It clatters loudly, blocking their path. I do not stop. The drone in my ears is deafening. I can see a dark opening ahead. It looks like a massive drain pipe. I dive straight into it. I slide down into the darkness. The roaring sounds fade slightly above me. I keep sliding down the smooth concrete. I am falling. I hit the bottom hard. I roll in the shallow puddle. Everything goes silent. I manage to climb onto a dry platform. The splashing stopped. Is it gone? I cannot stay here for long. There is a dark pipe ahead. It might be an exit. The water here is completely still again. My heart is still pounding. I must crawl through this narrow opening. The air is getting colder and drier. It smells like damp concrete, now not chlorine. I hope this leads somewhere safe. I slowly stand up. My legs are shaking uncontrollably. I am covered in dirty water. The pipe echoes with every tiny movement I make. I start walking forward into the gloom. The sound of the pool rooms is completely gone. I am entirely alone again. The walls are rough and unfinished. This is a different level. I need to find a way out of here.